You smell that? You smell that? Yeah, I smell it too. Something smells a little fishy, right? All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. Why Yahweh Shah. This is your brother Ahmath IQAhmath. First name IQ is all the same. You reach another episode of Don't Shoot the Messenger. That's right. Breaking news, an impromptu episode. Don't normally do this on Tuesdays, but here we are. Here we are. Is it Tuesday or Wednesday? I'm all lost in the sauce. Wednesday. Pardon me. Right. You see the title, breaking news. Transformer shoots up a Catholic school. Something smells fishy. You may say, why is that? Yeah, I got my little tinfoil hat on right now, just a little bit. It's tilted to the side, right? But walk with me, Israel. If you haven't already, man, make sure you wipe your feet when you came on in here. This is going to be brief, but at the same time, it's going to be informative. I know everybody and their mom is going to be talking about this, from podcast to newscast to, alternative media, what have you, right? But all may not take the same approach that I do regarding this. So, with that being said, let me share a couple of scriptures and then we're going to get right into it. Let's see. Let me share here and we'll get to it. Prayerfully, everybody's doing well when this video finds you. And you're staying in the spirit, being vigilant, and paying attention to what's going on. All right, so let's look at this. Sirach 5:15 says, "Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small." So when you see incidents like this playing out, there's a couple of things that came to mind for me, and I'll share them with you as we continue on today. But everything ain't always what it seems. I mean, we're in an age and time right now where you have to question everything. I mean, we are literally in a matrix where it's like you got to question reality every moment. Stuff that you're seeing on TV, on your computer screens, on your phones. You're wondering if it's real, if it's not real. Voiceovers now, you can't tell if that's somebody's voice, if that's legitimately them saying what they're saying or not. Just the amount of lies and deception that's out there in the world right now, just bold and blatant, brazen in your face, and they just let it go. They doesn't matter what it is, you have to question everything at this point, right? They say, believe in nothing what you hear and half of what you see, right? That's an old saying. So that's why the Lord told us not to be ignorant in anything, in a great matter or small. So when you see this, your wheels got to be clicking. The first thing can't be, oh, those poor kids. The Catholic Church has got to be reeling right now from this poor tragedy. I mean, that can come on the back end. Your immediate response should be, what the heck? Why? Who, what, when, where, and why, and how? Right? 2 Corinthians 2 in the 11th verse says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us. If you don't question, if you don't perceive and use discernment, if you don't investigate, if you don't utilize your tools of knowledge and wisdom and understanding, counsel, might, fear the Most High, the attributes of the Holy Spirit, you will get taken advantage of. Satan will take advantage of your naivete, your naive mind frame, right? Because we can't be ignorant of his devices. At work with these particular incidences in times past, and as they'll always continue to be, at the root of all these causes, it's some Manchurian candidate type mental health. They take advantage of the mentally ill. They take advantage of the downtrodden and forgotten and the poor. They take advantage of political means and justifications. These are all devices that get used when we see these things happen. Nothing happens by happenstance, right? Not everything happens for a reason, as they say, including this. So without further ado, like I said, I'm not going to take too much of your time, but I want to drop a couple gems on you just so that you can kind of get your wheel spinning kind of like I did. Okay. Here we go. Let's move on up. You see here, look, they're already still updating with even more breaking news. The transformer shooter, right? Mused about slaughtering the filthy GMO small hat elites in a sick journal before the deadly massacre. So, of course, as the small hats are over there bombing away in Gaza, starving out people, uh, trying to exact the Ben Gurion Canal and the Greater Israel Project, right, where they want to completely take over lands that's not theirs. I mean, none of it's theirs, but there's a complete agenda that's going on, and you've got a leader over there, Benjamin Netanyahu, that has got a warrant out for his arrest. We've seen everything go down when he's supposed to go to court. Bombings are going off in Iran, where they stalls that. Now, when you got protests and things going on in their own land, their own people are protesting this particular war now. They're rising up. They're divided against themselves. We've covered that in previous DSTMs. I think over the last 2 weeks, about 2 weeks ago, we covered that. Now, when all the backlash is kicking in and people are starting to question and people are looking at them saying, you guys are the villains. You guys are the evil ones. You guys are the ones that's causing all these problems. We don't see Israel has the right to defend themselves anymore. We're seeing you on the offense and killing and destroying women, children, bombarding refugee encampments, so forth and so on, hospitals. You follow where I'm going with this? When the spotlight gets on them, conveniently, there's a spotlight that deviates from them and points to somebody else who's got an anti-S word mentality that here they go being victimized again. And we've got to do everything that we can to pay attention to this as opposed to what they've been up to. You know what I'm talking about. So here they go. They done mobilized a psychotic transformer, a Decepticon, to go and carry out this particular attack. Now look at this. Minneapolis Catholic school shooter ID'd as a trans woman. Okay. Trans woman Robin Westman, while possibly manifesto shows psychotic obsession with mass shooters. Okay, psychotic. So here we go. They're already talking mental. And we already know if you rooting for that team, if you're on the alphabet community team, there's something mentally wrong with you and them in many cases. That's for a whole nother episode. Y'all know where I stand at, where we stand at, where the Bible stands at. I did the Agents of Satan Scrabble Gang lesson. Yeah, you can go back and check it. Scriptural, scientific, biological, cultural, all covered in there to show you the proof of the agenda. Let's continue. The deranged gunman who slaughtered 2 children and injured at least 17 others at a Catholic school in Minneapolis has been identified as a transformer woman. As disturbing videos posted by the shooter show a handwritten manifesto and a slaughtered Donald Trump and for the children scrawled on gun magazines. Robin Westman, formerly Robert Westman, opened fire through the stained glass windows of a church at the Annunciation Catholic School where he attended. Oh, very interesting connections. We know what this faith has a history of when it comes down to children, upbringing, turning people out, if you will. Altar boy, hello. I mean, we have no proof that this could have affected his life and turned him into the lifestyle choices that he's made. But it's fair to question, is it not? So he's a former student at this school, right? That turned into a transformer. Very interesting. Where he attended during a celebratory back-to-school mass filled with children around 8:30 a.m. Wednesday, just hours before the cowardly massacre. Westman 23 posted a series of twisted videos on YouTube, which included the manifesto. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara confirmed at a press conference in a 20-minute video, Westman flips through the disturbing handwritten manifesto, much of it in Cyrillic. Here he goes. Here you go. Good old Robin Westman, right? And if he's looked familiar to you, it's probably from this movie. You remember this? Remember this? The Mask? Or just Mask by Rocky? little Edomite that got struck in with the elephant man disease or whatever that is, right? Looks familiar, doesn't it? Yeah, this was Cher's son back in the day. Some of y'all might be reminiscing this as you may have been alive during this time. I was a kid, remember seeing this movie, tripping. For you young folks, man, y'all don't know nothing about this. Go check it out if you want to, but it's nothing to trip about. But I looked at it, I said, "Hey, there he goes. Rocky's back." Unreal. Can't make it up, y'all. Okay. Oh, here he goes. When he in his transformation, 2021, right? Here goes his arsenal. He's got all of his manifesto writings on here. Where is your God? Huh? Oh, okay. Suck on this. Look at him. The big one. Oh, okay. Well, let's continue on. Here he goes. Now, in the deranged writings, he gleefully fantasizes about being the scary, horrible monster standing over these powerless kids and reverently confesses admiration for the 2012 Sandy Hook massacre. In the video titled So Long and Thanks for All the Fish, Westman slowly turns the pages of the red notebook, which is laid out on top of what appears to be a schematic gun diagrams, one of them reading Ruger Mark IV. As he flips the pages, an occasional plume of smoke is seen from the bottom of the screen, punctuated by coughs, disjointed cursing, and maniacal giggles. So we know he's on that. We can't say whether or not he was vaping or not, but here he is coughing and cursing, high as a kite, high out of his mind, smoking that good as they call it, right? Before he goes and carries out his dirt. Each page is filled with inscrutable handwritten doggerel, which includes violent ramblings such as I have had these thoughts about mass destruction. We'll replace that word with that. For a long time, I'm very conflicted with writing this journal. The text translated by the post reads in part. Slocky, 1 second. This is too much background. Pardon me, y'all. Hopefully that reduces some of the noise in the background. But anyway, here he is fantasizing about this, right? So what I started looking at, and I'm saying this is very interesting because 7 days prior, one story of which we did cover in a DSTM last weekend talked about this. Armed drones to be deployed at schools to stop mass shooters. Look at it, August 20th. Here we are 7 days later. They waited for a completion of days before displaying or they didn't deploy these out, but it's just ironic that hadn't had a shooting at a school in a while to my memory, right? As soon as they put this out here, all of a sudden, 7 days later, here comes a shooting. Very interesting. Very interesting, right? If y'all need a reminder, we'll just read this a little bit and then we'll move on. Drone technology that assists responders to school shootings is set to be trialed in Florida. The Campus Guardian Angel is a Texas-based system that, while supporting the police and other responders, a trial will be rolled out in 3 Florida school districts after approval from Governor Ron DeSantis. So what would prompt Governor Ron DeSantis to fast forward the approval? Oh, maybe if they have a shooting while he's waiting for the paperwork to come across his desk. Now, right now, they're saying it's just for Florida, but guess who's going to be crying for it now? Oh, Minneapolis is going to be crying for it now. Oh, and you can't leave out any of these other states who are saying, well, what about us? We want to protect our kids too. We want security too, right? And we know that this is all agenda driven when it comes down to Second Amendment rights, taking away one's ability to protect themselves, their families, your congregations, etc. Right? We talked about this. Again, Ronald Reagan says the 9 most terrifying words that you can hear is "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." Now, when they disarm, disempower you, they're saying, allow us to take care of you, right? They're already doing a good job of that with National Guard on the streets in DC, Chicago, LA, New York, 19 other states. Remember that? We just read the article last weekend, 1,700. National Guard are being deployed in 19 states right now to crack down on crime and illegal immigration. Uh, Now here they are trying to fast forward armed drone technology being utilized, and they say, "Oh, just for the schools." What happens when it's well, it's working great with the schools. Why not we just do it in neighborhoods? You understand what I'm saying? Eyes in the skies, Big Brother, no getting away. If you're committing some crimes, armed drones shooting you down. Oops, racially profiled you. We got the wrong person. Sorry. You know, all these particular user error type situations jump off when this is all said and done. AI being directed. I can see where all this is going. Now, look at this. Newsweek contacted the governor's office for more information on the policy via email for this story. Drones can be deployed within 5 seconds. Remember that? With more than 60 school shooting incidents reported in Florida alone since 2018, according to the K through 12 school shooting database, educators and lawmakers have urgently sought innovative approaches to school safety. The introduction of attack drones designed to respond to active shooter threats in seconds aims to address the crucial window in which most fatalities occur and could represent a major shift in school security across the U.S. So, no better time than the present to actually show an example as to why this is a good idea. You think that's ironic? You think it's just by happenstance? Or you think that, this might have been a, a pre-planned? I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying be not ignorant of any matter, small or great, right? Because guess what? Our enemy loves to sit back in his bedside and think up and drum up various ways to maintain power, control, dominance over the earth and the people. Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. They're in the bed at night, manifesting all types of manners of iniquity, evil, seduction, temptation, you name it, right? This is what they do. How do we know this? I'm going to leave you with this. It's from the famed book, Behold a Pale Horse. I think it was written in 1990. Might have been 89, 90, by William Cooper, right? A lot of people heard about this book. Some of them may have read it, but it's got bones in it as well. But you chew the meat, spit out the bones. This right here is meat. It's on page 224 and page 225, chapter 12. Ironically, right? For many years, the secret government has been importing drugs and selling them to the people, mainly the poor and the minorities. Social welfare programs were put into place to create a dependent, non-working element in our society. So far, no lies detected. Do we see drugs being implemented in our communities? Did we come up with these drugs? Hell no, we didn't. They're the ones who gave us access to the drugs. The lid's been blown off of that. We've talked about it a number of different times. There is a movie called Shoot the Messenger, which let me say has had a little effect on me naming this channel these particular episodes that the channel is Messenger of the Covenant Slakia. But the portion of content that I do, DSTM, had a little influence from that. The rest was from the name of our congregation and Malachi the third chapter, right? But nonetheless, We know about the CIA, Iran Contra, them shipping drugs into our communities. All that's been declassified. Nobody's ignorant of that anymore, right? So he was on point, acknowledging importing drugs and selling them to the people, mainly poor minorities. I've even showed articles and information about how in the early 70s, I forgot the professor's name, but the professor over there at UCLA was drumming up rock cocaine and teaching monkeys how to smoke it. This is well before the rock and the crack epidemic happened in the 80s. Talking a damn near a decade before that, they already knew how to rock it up and to sell it and have the monkeys smoke it. Remember that? Y'all don't remember that. Okay, let me look real quick. See, I didn't even mean to do this, but we're gonna have to do it. I just wanted the professor's name, matter of fact. Let's see. Here we go. Dr. Ron Siegel. There's a YouTube video already here. Dr. Ron Siegel, a psychology professor at UCLA, admits to smoking crack cocaine with monkeys in his lab 13 years before the crack epidemic. Okay. Columbia Journalism Review, crack smoking monkeys. Clinton is rock Hudson. I mean, this is all facts. Getting back to the book. For many years, the secret government has been importing drugs and selling them to the people, mainly poor and minorities. Social welfare programs were put into place to create a dependent, non-working element in our society. Yeah, so we know who the greatest recipients of, um, let's say per capita, it's more white people on welfare than it is Jake, but that's because of populations in cities. However, when you're looking at it just based upon the percentages that they say of the populace, we're the greatest recipients: Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, right? Section 8, WIC, SNAP, EBT, etc. Uh, Creating a dependent government society. Continuing on, it says the government then began to remove these programs to force people into criminal class that did not exist in the 50s and the 60s. Yeah. Um, Shout out to, I'll give a brother credit, man, Wesley Muhammad. I remember him talking maybe give or take 10 years ago, talking about how the government created the nigger, so to speak, the nigger. Government created that, man, by putting our people in positions and conditions that destroyed our community. And the only thing that we knew how to survive was resorting to knuckle dragging savagery to survive, from killer be killed to um, gang clusters to defend neighborhoods was turned into criminal organizations, giving us crack guns, no opportunities, uh, breaking up our homes by having these particular governmental programs put into place so that the nuclear family will be destroyed, no man in the house, right? So baby mama syndromes, all that other stuff, man. The systematic racism that's been implemented created the nigger. Because, and when I say nigga, we talking about the ignorant, dumbed down, knuckle dragging black and Hispanic is out there right now who gives a damn about his life or yours. That's the nigga. Because if you remember, in the 60s, 40s, 50s, 30s, we had a tight knit bond community, family structure, education was stressed, right? We had communities where we helped raise each other's children. Leading up into the civil rights era, the empowerment stages of the Black Panthers, the Young Lords, Brown Berets, right? Um, what's the I think the one of the other program, AIM, I believe it was the American Indian um, program. I think it was AIM. I might be off on that, but we had a movement, right? 70s, everybody was calling each other blood. Why? Because we had a bloodline recognition that we were kindred, not because I was wearing red and defending a particular neighborhood or represented a particular neighborhood that was destruction and destructive, right? No, they had to break all of that up. All the leaders got put to death. We all know this. J. Edgar Hoover said that there was a fear of a black messiah. They did not want any black man to rise up to lead our people into freedom from oppression, mental slavery, so forth and so on. I'm not telling you nothing you don't know. I'm just helping you remember. Now, again, he's saying all these programs and all this other stuff, they started phasing out, or they're becoming even more imposing on our people. But look at this here. This is the plan. This the last part I want to show y'all. The government encouraged the manufacture and importation of military firearms for the criminals to use. There's been even rumored stories of boxes of military grade weapons being dropped off in cities like Chicago, LA, New York, Miami, right? With the drug trade came military grade weapons. I mean, hey, look, Jakes was out here in the 60s and 70s from, me getting these words from my elders from the streets on up to my elders in this truth. Brothers only had zip guns. If you really had something going on, you had a damn 38 special or maybe a shotgun or a little 22 rifle or something in the 70s and early 80s. Next thing you know, between 82, 85, 88, Mac 11, Uzis, what do you call it? AR-15s being put into place. AK-47s being put into place. I mean, cats is having access to grenades. I mean, all kind of stuff. Where is all this stuff coming from? We damn sure ain't have at the damn local liquor store. We know that all these things was being implemented in, but let's continue. It says, this is intended to foster a feeling of insecurity, which will lead the American people to voluntarily disarm themselves by passing laws against firearms, using drugs and hypnosis on mental patients in a process called Orion. So Orion is very similar to MK Ultra. I don't know about it. Go look it up, right? But here you see the motivation and the devices, as we just got to read in 2 Corinthians 2 and 11, devices that's being used to carry out these things. Drugs, hypnosis on mental patients. We've seen what they said in the headline, psychotic obsession this guy had with fellow mentally ill people like himself who unalive people on mass shooting levels, right? Now it says what? The CIA inculcated the desire of these people to open fire on what? Schoolyards. This was written again in 1990. CIA inculcated the desire in these people to open fire on schoolyards and thus inflame the anti-gun lobby. This plan is well underway and so far is working perfectly. The middle class is begging the government to do away with the Second Amendment. All right, so take that for what you will, right? Take that for what you will. Again, we just got through seeing that this has been in the plan, in the works. So when you see stories like such, you should automatically be saying, I wonder what this is about. Where is this a random act or is this something for real? You notice they've already been on the rampage. I mean, we might have skipped maybe about the last week or two without having a mass shooting, but prior to that, we went at least 2-3 weeks straight with a reported mass shooting. Think about it. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and leave y'all by bidding you in my closing. Always remember, fear the Most High, keep the commandments.